What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Friday market review. This one, we're going to do pretty much what we've been doing, cover these six that I've covered. We're going to see how it pretty much played out this week and where we're at now. So we're going to see what played out correctly, what went with our analysis, what kind of went with either option here, but let's just get right into it. So we're going to start off with DXY. Okay, so the original idea for this was still overall pretty much bullish as long as we're above this monthly here at 91.5. We saw price action was, some bearish volume was stepping in, and we were pretty much breaking this range here. We had a bit of a fake out, failed bullish conviction after the higher low, fell back into the range, but didn't really range, right? It just kind of blew through this zone to a lower support level. And now we were kind of pulling back to retest the bottom of that range as resistance. So from here, it was very likely that price action was going to pull back into the range, or if it was going to continue with this new little bearish trend, we're looking for a lower high pretty much at this area. So let's see how it played out. So it actually consolidated for a little while and then pulled back into the range. And now we have a ton of bullish momentum. So we're going to reanalyze this into next week and see, what the possibilities are here, right? What are the trade scenarios for the dollar? And the most likely right now is simply, continuing with this bullish momentum. Overall, the higher time frames are bullish, right? We did see a nice rejection off this level. This would be a time to push a little bit higher. Price action could definitely continue higher, then look for a pullback. But pretty much right now, you just want to see this momentum continue and start forming higher lows that we could then, strongly and confidently say that DXY is bullish, right? So that's where we're at here on the dollar. Let's move over to AU. Okay, so this one was pretty interesting as well. Overall bearish, huge pattern here. We broke to the downside just below major support, 0.74. And we've been kind of consolidating. There's some sort of, expanding pattern. The volume is increasing here. Price action is making these deeper pullbacks. Nice little double top. Good rejection still. So honestly, we were either waiting for this to continue lower or pull back and test this resistance again. Maybe we'd see an entry on, a fourth touch or some sort of lower high just below this. That was kind of the idea behind that, the most likely scenario. But if it pushed above 0.74, pulled back, gave us a confirmed higher low, we would have switched our position and would have been bullish more so, or we will be bullish if this happens, right? So let's play it forward, see what happened. So it actually did come back up. The volume is still pretty strong, right? This is good, but this is just more consolidation at this resistance level. It looks like it's dropping now. There's an engulfing there, large bearish setup there, so could continue lower now at this point. And there were some entries here on AU on this candle, this 4-hour candle here. Okay, so we're going to reanalyze this one on Sunday. Will it come back, give us another lower high? Potentially. We'll cover that in both scenarios as well. So that's AU, looking pretty good. But yeah, you would have had to be patient on this one and would have just had to wait for that good confirmation of rejection, right? Because there was no entry here, a bit of a fake out on that wick. Not even entering on this engulfing, not that great, too much volume. You really wanted to enter on the start of the move over here, right? It's the most conservative entry, highest probable trade scenario. Stop loss would be above that. So yeah, this one's looking good, and I feel confident going into next week about AU. There's going to be some more setups for sure. So let's cover AJ. How did this one play out, right? Overall bearish, pretty much that's what our bias was. We saw that there was a little channel here. We were breaking below supported 87.5, but it, could pull back most definitely and, hit a fib level or something, test this trend line again. So we ideally wanted to see this pull back and confirm a lower high below 87.5. Okay, but if it were to go bullish, I wanted to clear all this consolidation, pretty much get out of these two zones and get above 81.4 with a higher low. Then I would be interested and would be considering long scenarios. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so this just consolidated. We did not get a good lower high. There was actually a bit of a fake out here. This would have looked like good conviction. It would have been a nice bearish variation if this closed down here, right? But it obviously didn't. It rejected pretty hard. There were definitely lower time frame setups telling you that this was going to pull back and that this was forming what probably was lower time frame morning star, high volume, for that time frame, and then obviously it went bullish from there. It broke back through 80.75, and it retraced all the way up to 81.4, right at our 50% fib level. So what's interesting now is it's still technically bearish. This just means that we're still pretty heavily in an area of consolidation. So it doesn't really have a clear direction yet, but it definitely pulled back into this area, which just represents indecision in here, right? So it makes it very easy for us to understand what the potential is. Let me just get rid of this reminder. What the potential is here. So pretty much these trade scenarios are going to remain the same going into next week, right? We want to see still a break above 81.4 for us to consider AJ bullish. And for the most conservative short scenario, we want to wait for a lower high below 80.75. So these trade scenarios are still pretty much valid. Okay, now this does look like it's reversing now. This is definitely what we want to see in this area. Good rejection, some nice wicks to the upside. Good bearish pressure starting to step in, at least it looks like it. If that continues, then we may be entering into some trades at the beginning of next week. So we'll see. We'll see with this one. But yeah, AJ is looking all right. Again, this was one of those patient weeks. You kind of just had to stay in tune with the market and follow what price action was really telling us. But yeah, confident next week. We'll see how that one plays out. Let's move on to UJ. Okay, so this one was newly bearish, right? Because we were higher time frame bullish, right? It was just this whole channel here, this whole supporting trend line is just supporting a very large bullish trend. Has been for a while. If you scroll down, there's some notes here. I label all the trends, right? So weekly was bullish. Now we're bearish since we had this break. Good transition through 110 support. This consolidation finally broke, and we confirmed this break with a lower high right here. So it pushed a good amount lower than 110, pulled back, confirmed a lower high. Good confluence area. You guys can see all the MAs in here converging and crossing, and then there's wicks to the upside. So a lot of candlestick confirmation as well. Okay, so that's how we confirm that breakout and confirmation of a transition. And then it pushed lower, came back up, gave us a lower high, and then a huge gap down. Right, so this candle here should have a big question mark on it. All that this means is that there was more or less speculation, and we really just need more information. We need more candles to get a better idea of where it's going to go, right? So ideally, it's going to reverse at 109.15. Good volume, good consolidation followed by good volume, so we have entry opportunities and the risk reward's not skewed. So we really don't want candles like this, reversing, because then how are you going to enter on that? So you want to just see this play out in a normal way. Ideally, nice reversal at 109.15. Look for that deeper pullback, and it's likely that it could pull back to 110. So that was the ideal scenario that we were really waiting for. However, if it did break support, if it cleared 109.15, we really just wanted to see a lower high to confirm that, because that's a pretty extended move. And it would just need to show us a lot. So that's why we would really need to see that lower high before taking that short position. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so this kept dropping pretty hard. The volume started to die down around 109 here. As you can see, the candles are getting smaller. Now we're printing indecision candles right at that level. That's exactly what we want to see. But then we got a little bit of speculation, huge news event, a huge amount of volume, and it kind of took off from there. So this would have been a tough entry to execute because it probably happened very, very quickly, as a lot of moves did this week. So unless you were on a lower time frame, it would have been difficult to spot. But the idea was there, right? So now we're back up near 110. This makes it very easy to analyze going into next week, right? This is a pivot level. This is a level where we saw tons of consolidation. So if we see a sharp reaction here, whether it be a breakthrough, pullback higher low, or a reversal, we'll be ready for it. And as long as you see a sharp enough reversal now, instead of consolidation, then we'll be able to make a move sooner than later. If this falls back into this area and just starts moving sideways again, it's gonna be a waiting game. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this momentum continues. I want to see this kind of breach into this zone, clear all these highs over here, right? And then just start seeing some higher lows, because those are the characteristics of a strong bullish trend, right? Higher highs, higher lows, and then continuing in that pattern, right? So that's UJ. Let's move on to EJ. So this one was consolidating a little bit. However, it was, if we just zoom out a little bit here, it was overall bearish, as you guys can see, right? But newly bearish, because we were bullish for quite a while, for a few months, and then huge transition here at the weekly, big volume, and the thing has been full-blown bearish, right? Up until now, pretty much. It found support down here pretty much just below 129, nice psychological level, reacted very nicely, good rejection, good wicks, and then gave us some nice bullish setups, right? Looking for that transition. So right now, it's kind of mid-transition, right? It didn't really break these lower highs. I mean, there's a small transition here with a higher low, failed conviction. So now it's kind of moving sideways. So the idea for this was really to step into conviction now and see this kind of take off early in the week, or early in the week, and shoot up to this 131.3 area. That's really the only way that this would have made sense, because if this just starts consolidating, that doesn't show conviction. That doesn't show a strong trend. That shows that price action doesn't really know where it wants to go. So it'd be more likely that it would start to drop again, right? Because this is, when you see a fresh break like this, so like a push above resistance and then a higher low, it needs to follow through pretty immediately, unless it's forming some sort of pattern, but the volume has to be there, is what the point is. Okay, so this could have really flipped on either side of 130 here. So we're aware of that, and we're just going to wait for those confirmations. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so this actually dropped. See how this was lower high after lower high? This is like a descending triangle in here. Just like we said, more consolidation after a break is not good. So it was more or less a fake breakout. And then it just fell back down. Strong bearish engulfing candle. And then followed through with a nice close, little to no wick. So that's a confirmed break. Now we need to, this is a breakout candle. Now we need to confirm the break, right, through a lower high. So it pushed a little bit lower into this zone, which is good, about halfway, and now it's pulling back very nicely. Hit indecision at 130 as resistance, and now look what's happening. We're getting a little bit of bearish volume, so this is good. There could be some entries on here going into next week. That'd be very nice. Target support down here near 128.8. Stop loss just above 130. So this is perfect. Classic break and retest. If this is going to follow through, we're looking for a good amount of volume on here. So this thing should really start dumping, we've seen this dump recently, right? Big bearish candles. Things been moving well. All right, so that's the outlook for EJ going into this. Well, that's the recap for EJ this week, but obviously you can see it's going to be a nice analysis going into next week. So look for this one. It'll be high on the list. Looks like it's going to execute sooner than later next week, but join the Sunday analysis so we can get into this in more detail and have an idea as to what's going to happen. All right, so that's EJ. Let's move over to gold. Are we done with the consolidation on gold, guys? We've been stuck on this daily time frame. Hopefully we're done, right? Hopefully we're making a move, but we'll see in a second. So here we are on gold. Daily time frame, we've been ranging between the weekly resistance at 1825 and then bouncing off support here at 1800. So this is a key level, right? We've been saying for weeks now, as long as we're above it, we're generally bullish. As long as we're below it, we're generally bearish. But now we clearly see that there's a range here, huge wicks off support, massive rejection off resistance. So we want to let this finish doing what it's doing, right? Because there's no clear direction here. Unless you want to play the range, more than welcome to, but there's just a little more risk involved with that, because then eventually when the major move comes, it's going to be a big amount of pips, and you just want to make sure you're on the right side of that. So ideally, we want to continue with the overall bearish trend. That'd be nice. That's where we've seen the most volume. That's probably where the highest probability trade is. So we want to see a break of 1800 with a retest and confirm lower high. This should be enough where we could start looking for short scenarios off some bearish setups right as we get that lower high. And then we're targeting lower. Once again, could be a good amount of pips down towards the negative 27 fib level. And we just got to wait for that to happen, right? That's what we've been waiting for. So that was the bearish scenario, the most ideal, most likely. But if it were to go bullish, we need to clear that weekly. And I need to see a higher low, because this thing has to prove a lot to change my mind because of how bearish it's been. Is this really going to go for a deeper pullback and maybe, even higher? Doubtful. So really want to see something to confirm that idea if price action moves that way. So let's play it forward, see what happened. And here we are, guys. We're breaking the range finally. This humongous candle broke 1800. So now we have an opportunity for a lower high. Didn't happen over here. This is where we really needed to see it. Didn't see a lower high. It broke through that zone and decided to continue consolidating. But now here's the breakout. Good, strong candle. This week I'd love to see it pull back a little bit, give us a lower high just below 1800, and then show us this type of conviction once again that we could enter on, and then we're in. Then we're short. But yeah, finally gold's moving. This type of consolidation sucks. Like every single one of these is a day, right? We're on the daily time frame, so we've been waiting a while. We're waiting quite a while. So those are the three that we covered for this week. Overall, pretty good. A lot went with option 2. A lot are consolidating. A lot are still valid ideas that haven't played out yet. But yeah, we'll recap this on Sunday. We'll go over fresh new analysis. We'll see how this week is going to look ahead, and what the best prospects are going to be. All right, guys. So this has been another Friday review. Decent week, but I'll see you guys again on Sunday. So thank you guys, and have a good weekend.